Hello there, good evening. The heat is on for two top administration officials as the president's anti-graft stance goes tougher. Also tonight, the new look in Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport back in full business, and it is kudos to the Buhari administration in piloting the affairs of state. In other news, the power sector recovery plan in focus, correspondent on alternative power source, plus INEC in crucial meeting towards 2019. This is News Extra, and I am Fatima Abbas Hassan. We're glad to have you join us this evening. President Muhammadu Buhari has ordered an investigation into the allegation of violations of law and due process made against the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, Babachir David Lawal, in the award of contracts under the Presidential Initiative on the Northeast.
President Muhammadu Buhari, in a statement by the Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, has also directed the suspension of the SGF from office pending the outcome of the investigations. Similarly, the President has ordered a full-scale investigation into the discovery of large amounts of foreign and local currencies by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, in a residential apartment at Osborne Towers, Ikoyi, Lagos, over which the National Intelligence Agency, NIA, has made a claim. The investigation is also to inquire into the circumstances in which the NIA came into possession of the funds, how and by whose or which authority the funds were made available to the NIA, and to establish whether or not there has been a breach of the law or security procedure in obtaining custody and use of the funds. The President has also directed the suspension of the Director General of the NIA, Ambassador Ayo, pending the outcome of the investigation. A three-man committee comprising the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice and the National Security Advisor, headed by the Vice President, is to conduct both investigations. The committee is to submit its report to the President within 14 days. The most senior permanent secretary in the SGF's office and the most senior officer in the NIA, the statement directed, are to act respectively during the period of investigation.
Meanwhile, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo may have begun preliminary investigations into the allegation of misconduct leveled against the suspended Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir David Lawal, and the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, NIA, Ambassador Ayo. State House correspondent Adam Musambo reports that the embattled government functionaries met the Vice President behind closed doors.
Mr. Babachir David Lawal, who arrived at the State House shortly after his suspension by President Muhammadu Buhari was made public, met Vice President Yemi Osinbajo for over 1 hour behind closed doors. The Vice President is heading a three-man committee set up by the President to investigate both the suspended SGF and the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency over allegations of misconduct. Mr. Lawal, alleged of wrongdoing by the Senate in the award of contract under the Presidential Initiative on the Northeast, declined comment when confronted by journalists on what transpired at his meeting with the Vice President.
I've not seen the President. Now, can I enter my car?
Yes, sir. You can talk to us and enter your car,
sir. Am I under arrest?
No, sir. Mr. Babachir David Lawal from Adamawa, northeastern Nigeria, was sworn in as SGF by President Muhammadu Buhari on the 31st of August 2015.
I'm bringing on board competence, integrity, and hard work.
The suspended Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ambassador Ayo, who also met the Vice President, is being investigated over his agency's possession of funds discovered by the EFCC in Osborne Towers, Ikoyi, Lagos. From the State House, Adam Musambo, NTA News.
In the meantime, the presidency has commenced efforts to strengthen the mechanism of the whistleblower policy following breakthroughs in the war against corruption and unaccounted wealth. The senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Malam Garba Shehu, said the enthusiastic response of Nigerians to the whistleblower policy has boosted the tempo of the anti-corruption crusade of the Buhari administration. As And as a consequence, the government is considering ways of enhancing the structural capacity of the whistleblower mechanism. Malam Garba commended the zeal and patriotism of Nigerians for responding positively to the whistleblower incentive policy, which is intended to expose hidden looted funds. According to the presidential media aide, no public policy can succeed or go far enough without public support and participation. Malam Shehu explained that the huge and incredible amounts of looted funds being recovered by EFCC and the whistleblower efforts is a revelation about the mindless, callous, or reckless scale on which Nigeria had been robbed by unpatriotic and selfish public officials. The presidential spokesman also indicated that the government is getting suggestions to bring the issue of illegal weapons in the hand of citizens that are used to fuel intra- and intercommunal violence under the purview of whistleblower policy. He assured the citizens that all recovered funds will be applied to their welfare and happiness, adding that no country can achieve progress with corruption. Meanwhile, there are calls for collective support in the fight against corruption, in rebuilding a vibrant economy, a reputable people for the overall development. This was part of submissions of discussants on NTA's Current Affairs program, Tuesday Live. Talatu Ezirike has more on that.
Global attention is on tackling corruption through laws and the right structures that block leakages, which in turn hinder corruption. Analysts say Nigeria is not left out of the global phenomenon in view of the Buhari administration's fight against corruption, especially the introduced whistleblowers policy that has led to huge recovery of monies from corrupt members of the society.
We must sanitize our political system because the political field has harbored a lot of questionable characters. I mean, we have to define criteria, moral criteria, to qualify people.
If people know that there are several people who are blowing the whistle, so the possibility of being caught becomes a little bit higher. It is easier to ensure that you put systems in place that will make it difficult, if not impossible, for people to engage in corruptible transactions.
To many, the fight against corruption must be systematic and imbibed by the younger generations for sustainability.
We have to inculcate into our children moral and family values. If President Muhammadu Buhari can make Nigerians achieve this corruption fight, he has led it to. He's now watching us. It's left to us to make it become a reality.
You can give information now, you can blow whistle, and at the end of the day, maybe the thing has been moved or what they call it, relocated. So we will not charge you for giving false information. This will be encouraged. We are encouraged, the police are encouraging them because we will do much more with them, and they should know that when you blow the whistle, you are protected.
The clarion call is for Nigerians to restore the eroded values of hard work, integrity, selfless service and sacrifice that stood the nation out. The consensus, therefore, is that corruption must be tackled head-on. Talatu Ezirike, NTA News.
And away from the whistleblower policy, President Muhammadu Buhari has commended the Ethiopian airline for cooperating with the Nigerian government during the period of the closure of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. The president, in a statement, described it as a good example of intra-African cooperation. The statement, signed by presidential spokesman Femi Adesina, also commended the efforts of the Ministries of Transport, Power, Works and Housing, the security agencies, Kaduna State Government and the contractor on the successful completion of work on the runway and reopening of the airport 24 hours ahead of the deadline. In the meantime, activities at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport have kicked off with flourish following the resumption of flight activities after a 6-week break. Ahmad Ambali met with some persons who provided auxiliary services at the airport, while the coming back of the airport for some heralds booming business. For others, it hints on possible eviction.
Jacob Sampson, in his apron, would not strike you as a nurse, but that's what he is. Today, however, he's playing chef, holding forth for his sister at her food vending stand here at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. Passengers are back, and Sampson is delighted in the turnaround in sales.
It's totally, in fact, it has come back. That's just what I can say, because the business has picked up. You can see everywhere. You see cars everywhere. Before, you can even count the cars in the car park, but now everything has changed totally.
All over the airport, there seems to be a fresh lease of life. Passengers coming in, aircrafts departing. This is the Abuja airport many used to know.
They were able to execute because they marshaled all the resources. Before they promised, the money was there, and everybody followed through to the agreement. That to me is major.
I give 100% kudos to federal government, and I hope that on other issues they will come up this way too.
Akan progress! Akan progress! Progress! Akan!
But for these car hire operators, the return of services is coming with apprehension and perhaps likely eviction from their business posts.
Each motor will be paying 2,000 naira for them before you carry tons here. And we are paying 40,000 naira for concession, we are crying. Then you want to be collecting almost 800,000 naira from each car.
They say the airport authorities have not been fair in dealing with them. Accusations the regional airport manager says are not totally correct.
The way they operate is not according to laid down procedure. So we call them for a meeting, but yet they are still inconsistent. So that's why we resort to what we are doing, that they should go pending when we resolve it.
While the two try to reach an amicable resolution, passengers continue to troop in, and the likes of Sampson look forward to spicing up the menu and smiling to the bank after being out of business for 6 weeks. From the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, Ahmed Ambali, NTA News.
And the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, says the timely completion of the runway at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, that paved way for the reopening of the airport, has shown the ability of the Buhari administration to rise up to any occasion, irrespective of how daunting the challenges might be. In a statement issued in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, the minister described as a remarkable achievement the ability of the government to complete the total reconstruction of the runway within the stipulated time, despite doomsday predictions. He said the clockwork precision with which everything concerning the closure of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport and the temporary relocation to the Kaduna Airport was handled by the relevant ministries and the security agencies is the clearest indication that Nigeria can tackle any challenge. Alhaji Mohammed noted that the rehabilitation of the Abuja-Kaduna Road by the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing, the provision of non-evasive but effective security along the highway by the security agencies, and the perfect handling by the Ministry of Transportation of the massive logistics involved in ensuring the Kaduna Airport was able to handle such a large number of flights, all showed that Nigerians have what it takes to make the country a proud member of the Committee of Nations. The statement further says it is to the credit of the security agencies and the Federal Road Safety Corps that passengers traveling along the ever-busy Abuja-Kaduna Highway were largely kept safe while the closure of the Abuja airport lasted. Lai Mohammed thanked Nigerians for enduring the inconveniences that came with the relocation of Abuja flights to Kaduna. The Ethiopian airline that operated its scheduled Abuja flights to Kaduna when other international carriers turned their back, and the construction company that worked day and night to deliver that project before schedule. The Buhari administration has continued to receive a pat on the back for the timely completion and delivery of the rehabilitation work at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. The latest is from guests on NTA's program, Good Morning Nigeria. Salihu Abdullahi has more on that report.
For the past 6 weeks, the rehabilitation work at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport has received much attention from within and around the world. This is because of the critical role air transportation play to the people, especially those who trade business in Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. The guests were unanimous that the rehabilitation work did not only meet the required standard, but will also boost travelers' confidence and socio-economic activities.
The project was properly done. It was not a shoddy work from all I've seen. I think it's good for our country. We can get things done in this country if we address ourselves.
We need to appreciate one thing in Nigeria today, that we'll be able to manage a crisis, at least get to a success, is a good opportunity and achievement for all of us.
Over this period, we have had challenges with the age and the fiscally challenged. So we took this opportunity to address these issues.
The discussants say Nigeria as a growing economy deserves a second runway at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, and challenged the federal government to pay more attention in developing critical infrastructure.
When you close one runway, all the head of government came into Nigeria. That runway is closed. Very embarrassment. Very embarrassing. Where can you go? So that's why we say the second runway and the master plan must go to play. Like during the restructuring, the repair, I always say, let the construction of the second runway go concurrently with the resurfacing of the runway. They haven't done that. We should have saved time and saved money.
So government need to look at it from a bigger picture. We should be attracting investment into this sector.
In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And still remaining with the repairs of the runway at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. Now, Tuesday, the 18th of April, 2017, marked a new dawn in the life of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. For far too long, the runway had been requiring attention due to its gradual deterioration over the years. The Buhari administration came in to take the bull by the horn in effective repairs on the runway to world standard within a stipulated time frame, of which a deadline was not only met, but with time to spare. Correspondent Emmanuel Ayimiro, who followed the repair works, gives us an overview of the rehabilitation up to the reopening of the airport.
As normal as can be. It was very good. I would like to commend the Nigerian Civil Aviation. I think they did a great job. It was a very good runway.
This is Captain Garedu Yarid of Ethiopian Airlines, commending Nigeria after touching down on the newly rehabilitated runway of Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja.
It was world class and per the standard. It was very good. We don't find anything that was out of ordinary. It was perfect.
Ethiopian Airlines is one airline that stood by Nigeria in its trying time to meet the imperative of times in international aviation. When services of the Abuja airport were suspended to give way for repair works, and Kaduna Airport took over the huge traffic from Abuja Airport, Ethiopian Airlines was the first to divert its schedule from Abuja to Kaduna, just as it is the first to return all operations from Kaduna to Abuja Airport. An airline indeed showing itself as great partner to Nigeria in the aviation industry, a gesture which also received the commendation of President Muhammadu Buhari. In a rapid response by the authorities on the urgent need for repairs of the dilapidated runway of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, contractors were immediately brought to site on the 9th of March, not perhaps without consultations with aviation stakeholders. 6 weeks was given as the period within which the rehabilitation work was to be completed. Within that period, Kaduna Airport became a beehive. Bus services and trains were engaged in the movement of passengers to and from Kaduna Airport, while ahead of time, the Kaduna International Airport facilities were upgraded. The rehabilitation work began with the displacement of runway markings of the 3.6 kilometers runway to the removing of the surface asphalt layer, cutting and milling of the asphalt to the replacement of new asphalt and glass fiber, which prevents water and cracks. The glass fiber, a new technology, is first used on Abuja Airport runway in Nigeria after Germany and few other developed countries. The rehabilitation work was round the clock. Air-feed lightings were installed and tested at night after markings have been completed. The approach lighting system, the threshold lighting, centerline and touchdown lighting provide accurate navigation for pilot when landing and taking off. The taxiways and the apron equally received attention, while the terminal buildings, particularly Terminal B, has a lift installed instead of climbing the staircase. To the astonishment of many, the runway was not only completed within a period of time of 6 weeks, it was used ahead of deadline.
Actually, I was coming from London to Ethiopia and then onwards here. It was smooth. I thought we were going to land in Kaduna, but then I was amazed when I saw on the screen that we were coming to Abuja. I never thought I was going to come to Abuja, and I never thought that the airport would be open at this time.
Safety critical matters have been dealt with. The runway has been completed completely, and it's in perfect shape. The April 19th was the due date for us to conclude and open the airport based on our program of work. And then that is not saying that we cannot open earlier. We were able to deliver the project earlier than anticipated, and then we can open it. There is nothing wrong with opening it a day earlier. And here we are today. We set out to achieve that target. We achieved the target.
Air operations have since resumed fully at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
Thank you, Emmanuel, for taking us down memory lane. And still remaining with the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja residents have expressed satisfaction with the delivery of the runway in record time and the consequent resumption of operations there. They described it as a promise made and kept, a clear departure from a long-held opinion of Nigerians regarding government promises.
If we really mean to do good in Nigeria, we have the capacity to do it. We have proven it, and it's a good one.
We all doubted it. We thought it was just one of those government talks, but it's wonderful. It's good. I mean, for once, I mean, giving a promise and keeping to it before the deadline. Actually, kudos to the Ministry of Aviation.
Before now, I thought that it's not going to make it because most of the time when they say something, the way it will turn, it will look a different thing completely. But now they said it and it happened. I appreciate them for that.
It's a kudo to the present administration. They've worked very hard. What has been in a state of disrepair for a very long time has been fixed, and we are all happy for it. And again, it has given leverage to Kaduna airports.
We should imbibe maintenance culture. I think from now on, they will take to maintenance more seriously.
Well, with the reopening of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport Abuja to flight operations, the FCT administration has promised to ease traffic flow along the airport road by tracking the completion of the Bill Clinton Bridge by Airport Junction. The FCT Minister Muhammad Musa Bello gave this assurance while inspecting portions of the airport road project. Mitare Ikben was there and now reports.
With the mobilization of contractors back to site by the FCT administration, construction work on the remaining aspects of the 10-lane expansion of the airport road, Abuja, is progressing, with priority being given towards the speedy completion of the bridge that leads to the airport. The FCT minister, who was pleased with the progress of work, said the bridge will soon be open to traffic.
With the increased flow and movement of
traffic, it's very critical for us to make sure that this bridge is completed. When this administration came in, it was basically a hanging bridge, and you can see during the last few months with proper funding and supervision, the contractors came back to site and they've done a very wonderful job. And from their timeline, I understand a portion of the bridge would be operational within the next few weeks, and then subsequently in the next 2 or 3 months the entire section will be completed.
The minister reiterated the commitment of the FCT administration towards completing ongoing and abandoned projects scattered across Abuja. The contract for the 10-lane expansion of the airport road was awarded in May 2009, and the project is currently 95% complete. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Thank you, Mitaire. Now, away from the work on the airport road, the Vice President, Yemi Oshibanjo, says the country is blessed with great talents, adding that Nigerians are among some of the most creative and smartest people around the world. The Vice President made the remark when he received the first African pilot to travel around the world as a solo traveler. State House correspondent Jide Odifade has the details of that report.
The Vice President described the story of Lola Odujini as fascinating and one that has made every Nigerian proud. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo said the feat is inspiring and young Nigerians, he said, must learn from it. While expressing optimism that young Nigerians would break new grounds as did in the entertainment industry, Vice President Oshibajo said the feat achieved by the young pilot and his team, who are all Nigerians, portends even greater things for the people of the country in future. Lola Odujini said his goal was to put Nigeria on the world map by being the first African pilot to go around the world.
Experience was a mixture of everything, a mixture of, joy, sadness, everything. It was definitely a challenge. It wasn't easy. I've flown into Abuja a number of times, actually. And when I saw it, I couldn't wait to touch down on it. And I flew in onto the same runway, landed on runway 04, and the landing was smooth. So from what I could see, it's a beautiful job. It's a beautiful work.
Objective was actually to inspire the youth. And as such, I think he's managed to do that. Making sure that people, all the youth realize that their dreams should not necessarily just be dreams, but their dreams, if they work hard at it, can become a reality.
Lola Odujini flew several hours to 25 countries and made 35 stops in 9 months, making him first African to attain the feat. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Still to come, ignore those drumming the beat of division of Nigeria. That's the message of Professor Oshibanjo to Nigerians. And towards 2019, INEC begins strategizing. Join us after the break.
Let's pepper them. So tell somebody to tell everybody to come join Timaya, baby. I did bring too much sauce. Glow Mega Music Talk. It's gonna be a mad over your 10. Yo, wait, we are showstoppers.
I'm your host for the biggest show ever.
If you miss the stuff, you're gonna miss everything. So join me, guys. Let's turn it up.
We'll be storming across Nigeria. I won't be anywhere else.
Everyone who is anyone is going to be there. All Nigeria's A-list musicians.
One big stage. Live and direct.
Glow Mega Music Tour all over Nigeria.
So watch out because we dey come.
Let's go!
It's the Glow Mega Music Tour with your favorite anchors and special guest stars. It's gonna be untamed. Text music and your preferred location to 207. Use 2,000 Naira Glow airtime in 1 month to stand in line for your free ticket. So what are you waiting for? The Glow Mega Music Tour. Glow Unlimited.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights.
How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gioni A1 Super Selfie Super Battery.
Hello, I just got back from the States and I need a SIM so I can have a number.
You need.
What's nyafu nyafu?
If you join MTN, you go enjoy bonus to bracket.
What's bracket?
See, any bonus we then give you, you go fit to do anything where you like with them. Chatting, browsing, texting, calling, to any network for Nigeria. And no condition at all. Completely free dot. Everything in Baku.
What's Baku?
If you buy the charge card 100 naira, they go give you 600 naira. If you call the charge 200 naira, as a big baby to you is now, they will give you 1,200 naira.
Hey, brother, show me the way now.
Get an MTN SIM, register it, and get 6 times of all your recharges every time you recharge, and much more.
MTN, everywhere you go.
The Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, is pleased to invite the general public to the 53rd anniversary celebration of the Nigerian Air Force, holding from 20 to 22 April 2017 at the Nigerian Air Force Base, Makurdi, Benue State. Theme: Employment of Air Power for Enduring National Security. Activities marking the celebration include Jumat prayers and interdenominational church service, medical outreach, air weapons meet, ceremonial parade and winging of new pilots, presentation of color to Special Operations Command, induction of Mi-35M helicopters into the Nigerian Air Force inventory and aerial static display. Special guest of honor, President and Commander-in-Chief Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. Nigerian Air Force, willing, able, ready.
For the first time in the maritime sector of this great nation, Nigeria, 33 African countries, top global maritime administrators, and other stakeholders are all converging in Nigeria as the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, proudly hosts the 3rd edition of the Association of African Maritime Administration Conference, themed Sustainable Use of Africa's Oceans and Seas. Special guest of honor, His Excellency, President Muhammadu Buhari. Other notable guests include Secretary General, International Maritime Organization, His Excellency, Mr. Kitak Lim, Minister of Transportation of Nigeria, Right Honorable Rotimi Amechi, and other distinguished guests. Host, Director General NIMASA, Dr. Yakuku Adol Peterside. Date, April 19th to 21st, 2017, at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja. For more information, please call 0803-301-7498. AMA 2017 is organized by NIMASA and IMO.
The Honorable Minister, Federal Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Chief Audu Obi, and the Minister of State, Senator Henikin Lokbobiri, wish to invite all state commissioners of agriculture, heads of agricultural institutions, research councils, colleges, universities, and other relevant stakeholders to the rescheduled 42nd National Council of Agriculture and Rural Development with theme Agribusiness Investments for Economic Stabilization, Diversification, and Growth, which holds as follows. Date, Monday 24th to Friday 28th April 2017. Venue, Obiwali Convention Center, Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Time, 9 a.m. daily. Dr. Bukar Hassan, Permanent Secretary, Announcer.
There is a reason Africa is called the new frontier. What was once potential is now an opportunity ready to be seized. Once revered for our resources, today's wealth is in our people. People who build the cities that shape the future. People who know an idea in one place means business in another. A generation for whom technology means there are no borders, no boundaries. We are the new lions in a brave new world, kings of the urban jungle. And there's a bank that puts the world in our pocket and the future in our hands. UBA, Africa's global bank.
If you're just joining us, you're on to News Extra on the network service of the NTA. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says Nigeria is better off as a nation which greatness lies in its diversity. The Vice President, while receiving a delegation of the Arewa Consultative Forum, called on Nigerians to ignore those drumming for the division of the country. State House correspondent Jide Onifade has the details.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo was of the view that with the diversity and huge size of the country is better off as one great nation. The Vice President warned that Nigerians must not allow those who advance personal courses to defeat the very strong objectives of bringing the country together as a nation and forging ahead. Vice President Osinbajo told the delegation that President Muhammadu Buhari is one leader who possesses the willingness and passion to ensure that the people are united, adding that the president has shown that the country has men who are determined to remain honest, straightforward, and are able to speak their minds without deceit. The vice president expressed the support of the federal government for the proposed security summit by the forum. The delegation presented recommendations of the forum to the vice president on the way forward in curbing insecurity in the country.
We have to find the solution to the problem we're facing in this country, not only in the north and in some part of the country. We must be in peace.
I think since 2001, we have intervened in so many of these ethnic, tribal, religious, and so many crises of this nature.
The forum lauded the federal government for its achievements, especially in degrading insurgency in the northeast. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
In the meantime, the special advisor to the President of Media, Femi Adesina, has assured Nigerians of more dividends of democracy, in line with the promises made by the President Buhari administration. He reaffirmed this commitment while speaking on NTA's program, Good Morning Nigeria. Salihu Abdullahi has more on that.
Next month, May 29th, precisely, the Buhari-led administration will be 2 years in office. This is halfway in governance in the journey of its 4 years tenure. Answering questions on matters of national interest and the journey so far, the special advisor to the President of Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, captured the progress report of the Buhari government into 4 critical sectors: security, economy, education, and agriculture.
The president, in his Easter message, said we have met the expectations of Nigeria, our Nigerians. Now, can you speak more on what the president actually meant by that statement?
Those were not the president's words. Let me read these words. In the almost 2 years of this administration, we have worked hard to meet the expectations of Nigerians. That is different from we have met the expectations of Nigerians. We have worked hard to meet connotes work in progress. And what is happening is that, yes, the economy is turning. And you can see it easily from what is happening in agric. In agric, Nigeria is making giant strides to the extent that by 2018, we'll begin to export. We'll first satisfy local demand and then begin to export.
The presidential spokesman was emphatic that the ongoing war against insurgents and corrupt persons will continue until the remaining Chibok schoolgirls and others in captivity of the insurgents are released and culprits return stolen funds.
The intention of the anti-corruption war is not to shame and ridicule anybody. It is just to recover ill-gotten wealth. But you have a situation now in which life has returned to virtually all parts of the country, including the northeast that was the hotbed of that insurgency.
The government, he assured, is determined to fulfilling its campaign promises. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And in faraway Ethiopia, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed assured the global community that Nigeria's new visa regime is tailored towards attracting investors and boosting tourism. The minister was speaking in his address at the ongoing 59th meeting of the United Nations World Tourism Organization Commission for Africa, holding in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Anthony Forson has more.
When Nigeria put up appearance at the 2016 edition of this forum, leader of the delegation and Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, made it clear that Nigeria, under the present administration, is committed to removing all impediments that creates bottleneck in promoting economic growth in line with its desire to diversify its economy. It is in line with this that a new visa regime policy was introduced.
Nigeria today has embarked on getting a better environment for doing business. On the heels of this, we have liberalized our visa regime, and for the first time, today we have visa on arrival in Nigeria.
On promoting tourism, he said perceptions about the sector must change.
That is the way the tourism industry is being perceived.
Lending their voices in support of Nigeria, other ministers call for rebranding of Africa.
Thinking that when we are into power, we own the people, we own the country, and we do not want to do what is right and impose ourselves on people and expect tourists to come. Tourists will never come where there is violence. Even in your own country, when there is violence, your own people run away and leave it.
We can't overgloss over the perception of Africa, the scourge of disease, poverty, illiteracy, a whole lot of things that is unfortunately a perception.
It's a high time that Africa needs to rebrand itself and create its own narrative, because the narrative portrayed for Africa, we don't deserve this.
All of these visa issues, we make it difficult for Africans to travel within Africa. It is unnecessary.
From Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And still from Ethiopia is this cheering news, which says that Nigeria has won the right to host the 61st African meeting of Ministers of Tourism and Culture billed for next year. Anthony Forson is standing by with the details.
Nigeria won the hosting right after Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed indicated Nigeria's interest.
It is with all humility that I table before you Nigeria's bid to host the 61st CAF meeting in Abuja, Nigeria. As you may be aware, we are a country of almost 200 million people, rich in cultural heritage, which you will all see very soon in colors, dances, music, languages, festivals, among others.
It was followed by a video presentation highlighting Nigeria's rich cultural heritage. The 5-minute presentation is tagged Simply Nigeria.
Nigeria has it all. It is a place of rhythm, of dance, of music, of festivals, of tradition and culture, of spectacular color, of glamour, and a country of 200 million smiles. And home to a unique people of incomparable passion.
Chairman of the United Nations World Tourism Organization Commission for Africa, Walter Nzembi, said the applause that followed Nigeria's presentation is a confirmation that the bid by Nigeria has been accepted. Nigeria has hosted the meeting in 2003, 2008, and 2012. In Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And back home, we take a look at the political scene. The nationwide continuous voter registration exercise is to commence on Thursday, the 27th of April, 2017. This is the outcome of a crucial meeting of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on the modalities and procedures for the exercise ahead of the 2019 general election. Ifeanyi Okafor has the details.
Following the consultations with political parties, civil society organizations and the media, the special meeting with resident electoral commissioners and administrative secretaries from the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory is to finalize its preparation for the commencement of the nationwide continuous voter registration exercise. The meeting specifically considered the methodology, modalities, and effective date for the commencement of the exercise nationwide. The Commission decided that the nationwide continuous voter registration exercise shall commence on Thursday, 27th April 2017 in each of the 774 local government areas of the Federation, and the exercise shall take place from Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., excluding public holidays.
In the exercise, we shall soon commence. Citizens who have reached the age of 18 years, those who did not register before the last general elections, those who wish to transfer or relocate from one state to another or within a state from one town to another, or those who did not collect their PVCs before the last general election will have the opportunity to do so.
The registration centers shall be the local government offices of the Commission or other suitable locations, as will be made public by the state offices of INEC. From the INEC headquarters, Abuja, Ifeanyi Okafor, NTA News.
Now, the beauty of democracy is that the principle of checks and balances is not the exclusive preserve of the three basic institutions of governance: the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. The people themselves, who form the electorate, have the power of checking the excesses of those they gave the mandate to represent them through the ballot box. This can be done through the process of recall, which resides with the people. In this next report, Ignatius Onko takes a look at the issue of recall.
If governance is a social contract, then power belongs to the people, and they decide who to entrust it with. The Constitution itself says it is supreme, and its provisions shall have binding force on all authorities and process. Yet, the same Constitution says sovereignty belongs to the people. By this, therefore, it is also the mandate of the people to check the excesses of those in governance whose mandates are derived from them, the people. This principle of social contract between the elected representative of the people and their electorates provide a platform for which the people can initiate a recall of an erring representative. Section 69 and 110 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, provide for the removal of a legislator through a process known as recall.
Constitutionally, Section 69 of our Constitution provides for the methodology in which a member can be removed from office on the federal level. And on the state level, Section 1110, makes provisions for the removal of a member from office.
Recall can be traced back to the ancient and tenant democracy, where even the word democracy originated from. What could lead to a recall?
Either maybe if I, as member House of Representative, am not performing, my constituents, they have right to elect another person whom they think he can perform better.
The process of recall starts with a petition to the Chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, from the constituency alleging loss of confidence against the legislator. The petition must be signed by more than half of the registered voters in that constituency.
In practice, the Commission, INEC, will now inform the member of the House or member of the Senate that, look, your constituents say they are not satisfied with you, they now wish to recall you, and we are in possession of a petition purportedly signed by more than half of the registered voters in your constituency. If we're satisfied within 90 days of the presentation of the petition, we have to conduct a referendum. If 50% of the total number of registered voters in that constituency, in that referendum now come and say yes and vote for it, then we will have to, the person stands recalled, in which case INEC, the Commission, will now have to write to the presiding officer.
In practical terms, Nigeria has never experienced a recall in its democratic existence. unlike in the United States, where about 26 legislators have been recalled, including that of the president of Arizona Senate, Rosel Pierce, who was recalled in November 2011. Since the return to democracy in 1999, the National Assembly and some state assemblies have several times witnessed agitation by a section of the society against their representatives. One then asks, why demonstration instead of going through the constitutional means?
And that if they have good reason to embark on the process of recall, they should be able to effect that process. And the only way they can effect that process is to simplify the procedure, but not too simplified to be invoked by people who don't mean well.
Recall in Nigeria is seemingly visible only in the text of the Constitution, as what could have been a process of recall has ended up as a demonstration at the entrance of legislative houses in Nigeria. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Thank you, Ignatius. Now to security matters. Safeguarding the welfare and interest of civilians during internal security operations are core components of the Nigerian Army's rules of engagement. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukuru Buratai, said this while flagging off a security exercise codenamed Operation Harbin Kunama, the second in Pituk, Aura local government, Southern Kaduna in Kaduna State. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has the details.
The first phase of Operation Harbin Kunama in 2015 covered Kaduna and Zamfara, while the second phase extends to Kano, Kaduna, Bauchi, and Plateau states. Records from Kaduna state government show that the southern region has been experiencing recurrent clash between farmers and herdsmen for the past 37 years, resulting to loss of lives and property. This combined operation involving the army and other security agencies is aimed at addressing criminality in southern Kaduna and to consolidate on the gains recorded in fighting insurgency.
With these soldiers, it can help the area to be peace all around the 7 local or 8 local government where we have a lot of problems.
With massive deployment of troops and equipment and improvement over the last operation, the Army Chief noted that the platform provides an avenue to further train personnel to adapt to the environment and emerging crime.
We need to look critically whenever there are challenges and to avoid any form of reprisal attacks, either from any of these groups. We really need to keep the peace.
Arresting perpetrators of crime and those propagating hate speech, Governor El-Rufai said, will address the security situation in the state.
I am happy that with this operation we are reasonably confident that the bandits that have been attacking our farmers will finally be neutralized in time for the rainy season to enable our farmers to go back to their farms.
The entourage also inspected the ongoing construction of a forward operation base in Kafanchang that began about 3 months ago. From Kafanchang in Kaduna State, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
In a similar development, the National Security Advisor, Major General Babagana Mungono, has inaugurated Nigerian Air Force NAV Cancer Screening Center at the 105 Composite Group, Maiduguri. The NSA said the inauguration of the project is in line with President Muhammadu Buhari's effort to support every meaningful venture that will bring credibility to the country. Muhammad Ibrahim was there and now reports.
The inauguration of the Cancer Screening Center is coming at a time when the Air Force is operating 2 emergency hospitals in Dalori and Bama IDP camps. The National Security Advisor said it is heartwarming to see NAF taking the lead in campaign against deadly diseases with the establishment of the 4th Cancer Screening Center in the country and commended the Chief of Air Staff for the achievements. The effort, he noted, falls within the scope of Mr. President's desire to improve the well-being of Nigerians. Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar said the establishment of the center was born out of the desire to further alleviate the health challenges of the IDPs in particular and the entire state, noting that early diagnosis increases the chances of survival. Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima, represented by Deputy Governor Osman Maman Durkwa, congratulated and commended the Air Force for its feats, saying it is a clear evidence of the vision of the founding fathers to contribute to national development. This center is the first of its kind in Borno State and will be of service to personnel of the Air Force, Armed Forces, and the entire populace. In Maiduguri, Muhammad Ibrahim, NTA News.
After a decade of collaboration on maritime safety and security, the Nigerian Navy is upscaling its working relationship with the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, for effective policing of the nation's territorial waters. The modus operandi to achieving that is all contained in the reviewed Memorandum of Understanding signed by the Chief of Naval Staff, Admiral Ibok Ete-Ibas, and Director General of NIMASA, Dr. Dakuku Peterside. Defense correspondent Isaac Nkuma has the details.
Maritime insecurity in the Gulf of Guinea has caused nations like Nigeria that rely so heavily on shipping activities for commerce and international trade to lose billions of dollars. Despite the challenges, the Navy is promising effective policing of the nation's maritime domain, which stretches to the Gulf of Guinea with its choke points operation mandate. This document is signed to take security of Nigeria's territorial waters to the next level in partnership with a key player in the nation's maritime sector. Chief of Naval Staff Admiral Ibok Ete-Ibas says he's looking forward to a vigorous implementation of the MOU, which covers vast security strategies such as rescue operations, training and more.
The requirements to strengthen and specify the NN-NIMASA relationship was born out of thoughtful consideration within the dictate of our peculiar realities as a littoral. Nigeria's maritime environment remains an important source of national revenue arising from the huge and growing resource exploitation and shipping activities. These realities demand that such activities should be conducted in a safe, secure, and regulated manner that reflects effective maritime governance around the nation.
Working with the Nigerian Navy, we have reduced significantly the rate of piracy within our maritime domain. Maritime crime is dropping. Vessels calling at our port are now more confident to call on Nigerian ports. It is simply because we are working in very closely knit relationship with the Nigerian Navy.
The first Memorandum of Understanding was signed in April 2007, and this reviewed version is seeking to consolidate the achievements recorded as well as inject new dimensions to guarantee safety of all merchant ships entering Nigeria. In Abuja, Isaac Nkuma, NTA News.
Just ahead on News Extra, economists push for looking inwards as a path to economic recovery. Don't miss out on that after the break.
Let's pepper them. So tell somebody to tell everybody to come join Maya, baby. I did bring too much sauce. Glow Mega Music Talk. It's gonna be a mind over your 10. You already know we are showstoppers.
I'm your host for the biggest show ever.
If you miss the stuff, you're gonna miss everything. So join me, guys. Let's turn it up.
We'll be storming across Nigeria. I won't be anywhere else.
Everyone who is anyone is going to be there. All Nigeria's A-list musicians. One big stage.
Live and direct.
Glow Mega Music Tour all over Nigeria.
So watch out because we dey come.
Let's go!
It's the Glow Mega Music Tour with your favorite anchors and special guest stars. It's gonna be untamed. Text music and your preferred location to 207. Use 2,000 Naira Glow airtime in 1 month to stand in line for your free ticket. So what are you waiting for? The Glow Mega Music Tour. Glow Unlimited.
This must be one of Mother Nature's greatest gifts. But there's something else it gives us. When we see such beauty, we want to share it with those we love. That's what LG wants you to see. Just what we see now. through our technology. LG OLED TV.
Can your milk do this?
Can your milk do this? Mine can.
With Hollandia evaporated milk, your ice cream, custards, and variations of beverages taste pleasantly different. Hollandia evaporated milk. Life tastes different.
From the House of Cheese.
Everyday air. Ordinary air. And then there's TomTom Air. There's air, and then there's TomTom Air. What are you breathing? New TomTom 5-piece pack.
Winning in hot and dry conditions is hard. Causes the body to sweat, which attracts germs that are easily passed from one person to another. What keeps you so cool, man? Dettol Cool combines Dettol's protection and an invincible icy feel. For super cool confidence, use Dettol Cool. Where is the pulp? The pulp. Where is the pulp? Where is the pulp?
Taste the goodness of real orange pulp in every gulp.
Where is the pulp?
5 Alive Pulpy Orange, now in your neighborhood.
My promise to my child. I am not your friend. I'm your mother. I will stalk you, debate you, and hunt you down if I have to. Because when it comes to protecting you, there's no such thing as too tough. That's why every night, I insist on Baygon Multi-Insect Killer for tough mosquito protection before bedtime. So I know my loved ones can fall asleep protected. S.C. Johnson, a family company.
Caller?
Oh, it's happy hour. So, you want a free Coca-Cola, but you have to drink it here.
You're welcome back. Economists insist on the need for Nigerians to look inwards and patronize made in Nigeria products to put the economy on a sustainable path to recovery. Plus, details of trading on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Let's join Ademola Adeoye for details in our business news. Hello there.
Thanks for joining us on Business News segment. There have been increasing calls from various quarters to sensitize Nigerians on the need to patronize locally made goods and services. Musa Toliat in this report takes a look at the challenges of producing locally made goods, economic benefits of patronizing such products, and required government policies to make indigenous manufacturers more viable.
The Made in Nigeria initiative is considered an integral part of Nigeria's short, medium, and long-term economic growth and development. The present economic realities have necessitated various initiatives capable of stemming the continued preference for imported goods to the detriment of locally made ones. Although the Public Procurement Act compels ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government to patronize only locally made goods, changing the perception of Nigerians about imported goods remains a daunting task.
Can you rely on those goods?
They don't do it up to standard.
Because of the low quality.
In order to promote made in Nigerian products, the growth of the industries in made in Nigerian products, we need to address the fundamental issues of competitiveness. We need to support them in a way that their cost of production will come down.
Let's now see how trading went on the floor of the stock market.
Market capitalization was 8.76 trillion naira, while the all-share index closed at 25,331.77. Investors bought more than 332.29 million shares at 1.52 billion naira. Transcorp led the gainers with a 7 kobo gain to close at 89 kobo per share, while Honeywell shed 10 kobo of its share price to be ahead of other losers.
That's our package on Business News segment. NTA News Extra continues after this timeout. Stay tuned.
Thank you, Ademola. As Nigerians answer the clarion call for all to embrace dry season farming, civil servants in Gombe State are not left out. Emmanuel Akila reports from Diffa village, where some civil servants engage in irrigation farming.
With oil gradually losing value in the global economy, oil-producing nations like Nigeria have no choice than to diversify their economy. Agriculture was therefore one of the most reliable options, and with the clarion call by authorities for the people to embrace agriculture, many, particularly civil servants, now see wisdom in it.
The workers out here on these fields are not only the peasant farmers that you know, but civil servants also have answered the call by Mr. President to go back to the farm, especially with abundance of water and good land for dry season farming. And we can see the harvest is bountiful.
Muhammad Adamu, a medical personnel, and Sani Abdullahi, a broadcast engineer, have engaged in dry season farming for many years. As civil servants, it has been a hobby to them. However, they have gone on large-scale production to provide food for their families, ensure food security in the country, and to serve as foreign exchange for Nigeria.
When I leave government service, my intention is to be a full-time farmer.
I ask my colleagues or my younger ones that they should please engage themselves into this farming.
Farmers have two sources of water available to them: rainwater and earth dam like the one that we have behind us here. However, farmers prefer to use the earth dam water because they can have control over the quantity of water that go into their farms, and with that, they can estimate the yield at the end of the season.
The federal government has been working on measures to reduce the cost of fertilizer, and Gombe State government has keyed into the program.
The state government provided tractors free of charge to every farmer that wanted to or wants to prepare his land, procured fertilizers and distributed to rice and wheat farmers, procured water pumps and sold at subsidized prices.
With available arable land in Gombe State, farmers have the Datinkowa and Balanga dams as sources of water all year round. What they need is just subsidized farming inputs, and the production can better be imagined than told. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Sustaining a robust electricity industry through the implementation of Power Sector Recovery Plan by the federal government may just be the icebreaker expected by Nigerians to get quality service as critical challenges are tackled for economic growth of the nation. Hamza Musa Makarfi examines the issues and perspectives on driving the plan.
For the average electricity consumer, what matters most is service availability in safe and reliable manner. When the government officially handed over the business of power sector to private entrepreneurs about 4 years ago, Nigerians shared unambiguous high expectations of complete turnaround based on promises. Gas suppliers to generation, transmission and distribution were touted to be robustly engaged in a seamless chain of activities, with the government providing regulations on the consummation of business deals. Many challenges of vandalism, gas adequacy, frail transmission value chain, and lack of investment by distribution companies have affected the realization of privatization vision. On the side of the electricity consumer, the envisaged reliefs of efficient supply is absent or epileptic. There are also estimated bills and lack of access to meters as consumer confidence wanes over the inability of the private sector to deliver as expected in the market.
Sometimes we have lights 3 days before they give us the next day.
Like in my area, the power situation is fine.
So if we could have some other, providers.
Arising from the cumulative effects of challenges, the market is enmeshed in heavy liquidity gaps running into billions of naira.
We were promised when we came in as investors that we are going to have a cost-reflective tariff. That has not happened since we came.
On the side of the operator, we equally need to up our game. So there are things that are internally incoherent in our system that we need to put right.
At the time of privatization, these PSC and successor companies were handed over to core investors without any liabilities. But operating them over the last 3 years, there have been colossal losses.
Government is being proactive with the power sector recovery plan and commitments of implementing many PET policy actions through operational and financial interventions to improve transparent service delivery by the entire value chain.
In terms of policy, government has taken action to approve a payment assurance guarantee that addresses the liquidity challenges in the sector.
It also specifically aims at reducing the cash deficits that have accumulated as a result of previous government unilateral tariff reduction. Hamza Musa Magalpi, NTA News.
Medical experts seek solutions to non-communicable diseases in the face of numerous health challenges. The details when we return in just a moment. Stay.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights.
How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gioni A1 Super Selfie Super Battery.
We are a wonderful, highly nutritious family. Smalley loves hanging out with friends. Selfie keeps you nourished.
Healthy goodness inside and out.
We've got Paddy for celebrating the high points of life with friends. Our active triplets are always on the go. Mixology goes well with all your favorite drinks. Slurp It Off is a first choice for your fast food. And Go-Gurt is like our Ajala, everywhere you need him to be. And then there's me, Jolly Jolly, bringing nourishment to every gathering. Hollandia yogurt is bursting with goodness inside and out. So we've got nourishment for everyone and every moment. Hollandia yogurt, it's all good.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is working to ensure access to safe, good quality essential medicines with the World Health Organization pre-qualification of made in Nigeria pharmaceutical products, stiffer penalties for fake drug offenders with a review of NAFDAC laws, national, regional, and international collaborations, cutting-edge technologies, including the mobile authentication service.
NAFDAC impacts upon everything we do, including water we drink,
The food we eat, they are important organs to the development of this country. And everybody should come out and join them and support them and help them to achieve the greatest benefits and success that they need to record.
Let us support NAFDAC to win the war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
That scenario will not happen.
The insurgency has been contained and agricultural production is bouncing back. Nigeria is working towards food sufficiency.
So FAO, thank you for coming. We discussed we're going to need your help in expanding agriculture, in introducing new crops for local consumption and export. We need to make the rural people richer and happier than they are now.
We must become a nation where we grow what we eat and consume what we produce.
Issues in the sports sector remain one of the most debated among Nigerians due to the passion, followership, government involvement, impact on Nigeria's external image and our national life in the sports parliament. The NTA offers Nigerians deep views on issues with experts in the sports sector, offering in-depth analysis, hindsight, insight and foresight towards elevating Nigerian sports to the zenith on the floor of the sports parliament.
So many things have been wrong in sports. We've been talking around it.
We need performance expertise, and you can only get some of this where you have world-class facilities.
How can sports deliver return of investment to attract the kind of money required to take it to the next level?
We cannot interfere in the internal affairs of even the federations that belongs to us.
Sports Parliament, a unique platform for sports discussions, showing live on the NTA, Thursdays at 11 p.m. Keep a date with the parliamentarians.
The eyes have it.
Sokoto State has commenced a massive vaccination of vulnerable groups against cerebrospinal meningitis, including communities in neighboring Niger Republic. Sadia Umar Digi reports that the exercise is part of measures to contain the spread of the epidemic across the state.
The vaccination exercise commenced at Gada local government area of Sokoto State. The vulnerable group, according to the Commissioner of Health, Dr. Balarabe Shehu Kakali, are children from 0 to 29 years of age. Sokoto is one of the northern states worst hit by the outbreak of the epidemic, which has so far claimed over 40 lives. As part of other measures to tackle the disease, isolation centers for the treatment of patients of meningitis have been established in different parts of the state. This is in addition to steady distribution of vaccines and drugs to the different hospitals and health centers in the state. The latest effort came from the senator representing Sokoto East Senatorial District, Ibrahim Abdullahi Gubir, who donated vaccines and drugs worth thousands of naira for distribution to hospitals in the state. Represented by Sarkin Fulani Gubir, Ibrahim Hussaini, the senator commended the effort of all stakeholders, particularly Sokoto State government, in addressing the problem and prayed God for the speedy recovery of victims of the epidemic. Receiving the items, the State Commissioner of Health, Dr. Balarabe Shehu Kakali, appealed to the people to imbibe the culture of personal hygiene, routine immunization, and regular medical checkup at nearest health centers. Other speakers at the occasion include APC State Chairman Alhaji Suleiman Usman Madamin Isa, Zonal Vice Chairman of the party, Sokoto East Senatorial District, Alhaji Sani Maeka Tambagarka, and elder statement of the party, Alhaji Muhammad Mainasara Usman, who called on other members of the National Assembly to extend similar hands of friendship to the victims of meningitis in the state. In Sokoto, Sadia Umar Digi, NTA News.
We have more reports ahead in just a moment. Join us again.
We unite. We defy. We hope. We dream. We play. We are fire in our hearts. We are made of black.
Yes, so no be only government go stop Lassa fever. Now everybody go put hands together to stop Lassa fever. We don't the years once more to say Lassa fever don't use style resurface for some part of this country them. But the Federal Ministry of Health say make you no panic. Now so they clean our house all the time. We chase rats come out, and if rats don't mood for our house, Lassa fever don't come out be that. Lassa fever get two symptoms. One are early stages where they bring fever, sore throats, vomiting, diarrhea, joint pain. The second stage in our bonge, now they cause bleeding from the nose, eyes, spectrum. It go even the main blood to the commode from private part, even cause swelling genital. Make we stop to the shop rat. Anywhere we rat fit enter our house, make we block her. Don't forget say division of the universal health coverage. That to see say everybody they can pay. Our God president one may want everybody make we stand in the bar. Yama no good for us, so it invite her. Sweat where they come up from person where get Lassa fever. Fit transfer the disease from one person to another. If you suspect any fever, we you don't treat it with better medicine and you no go quick, or you suspect any person where get Lassa fever, make you go any health facilities where they near you. Lassa fever must go. Now all of now will give them red card. Now Federal Ministry of Health bring on this message.
We have a bit on the global scene with Talatu Ezirike.
First Minister of Higher Education Mohammed Ben Umar has been removed from office following a violent wave